How about now, guys? Anything? Ah, perfect. Okay, it was something in the settings on my OBS. Excuse me. All right, perfect. Good deal. Gotta love technology, right? Okay. Joe, good to see you. Matchless, thank you, sir. Good to see you as well. How is everybody? It's been a while since we've done one of these. Been a while. All right, so gold and silver. Yep, absolutely. I'll get to those. Kind of ironic how Bitcoin's kind of tracking gold a little bit, right? So maybe Bitcoin is kind of like what Tudor Jones was thinking about it being a hedge against inflation. But we'll see. If we get another round of stimulus, I think Bitcoin's still going to be on its way. I still think Bitcoin's still going to do well, right? It's just a matter of, it's not going to go in one straight shot, right? Or at least we don't think so. Hey, Peter, good to see you, buddy. Thank you. But let's go ahead and delve into it just real quick. So once Bitcoin broke that downtrend line, and I was reminding everybody right in here, I said, just be real careful. But once it got above it, then obviously it takes off and it comes up, and where it basically stopped was the 127 or 1272 retracement. Excuse me. And then basically what I did is I drew this horizontal line right over here. This is what Bitcoin needs to hold if it starts retracing like really hard. It did it once right back here, right? That one day that scam wick or whatever you want to call it. I'll zoom in so you can see it, but see right there, came back and just retested old resistance, and then now it's starting to make a move again. And then if you'll remember last night, I posted, I just had an inkling that something might be going on, but the dominance chart on Bitcoin, look at that, right? You had this big move and then came back down, and everybody's thinking crash, 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 and it puts in this beautiful reversal pattern. So we'll see what the next candle does here. It looks like it's going to be a doji, meaning everybody's undecided. Not surprised, but still, it just kind of makes you think that Bitcoin might just get another leg to it, right? But be careful. Right now it's still closing above this 10 EMA the whole way. It has not closed below it since what? Shoot, what is that? Late July 22nd. So it hasn't closed below the 10 EMA. That's going to be your key. And then we'll see, the 20 EMA is right there. And then obviously this 50 EMA is the bad boy, right? You always hear me talking about that one. Want to see this 50 EMA get up here and get above where this old resistance was. So I'm not going to babble on too much about it, but there are some other things. Real quick, I'm going to pull up the futures chart. Okay, so we can take a look at that. Let me change the color on that so you can see where I'm circling to. Let me find my pointer focus app. Let's see, where's it at? And I can't find this stupid thing. Let's see. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to find... Oh, there it is. Okay. And let's change our color on this so we can see what I'm talking about. All right. So here we go. This goes all the way back to last year, right? And everybody remembers this run that we made right here. So I took basically... It looks kind of messy with all these lines right here, guys, and I apologize for that, but that's retracements that I've drawn from several spots, okay? And I'm basically looking for a clustered area where Bitcoin might find a short-term top, and we've got it, right? Right here. Basically is kind of where it's stopping at right now. This 12 to, what is that, 325 area? That might be an area where we pause and then maybe do something like a, just choppy down, maybe form a bull flag. We'll see, but it's going to take a little bit. And the closer we get to election, I think the choppier it's going to get. But I could be wrong on that. Okay, so don't hold me to that. I'm just saying if you're still long Bitcoin, stay long. Just add on the dips, right? I don't think this is going to crash anytime soon. But we could get a good retracement, right? The squeeze indicator fired off long. It's been, going higher here, but it's running out of bars, right? The Momo and the, slow stochastic is getting way overbought. I mean, we are in extreme territory right here. Doesn't mean it can't go higher, but it just kind of gives you a little bit of pause on adding stuff, right? Wait for a good dip, and then you can add, in my opinion. So that's just my thoughts on it. Do you guys have anything you want me to ask me about on that? Now, with what I said about the Fibonacci's, okay, here's one thing that I think is why I think Bitcoin's going higher is this. So this retracement from this high up here to this low, does everybody see the 78.6 right there? See that retracement? It broke past it. The question is, can it close above it? And I'm going to zoom in so you can see it a little closer, right? Broke past the 78.6. See that? We're above it. And so this area right in here, we'll see how it responds. But I think eventually, once you break a 78.6 retracement, you're usually going to go up and test the 1272. Well, where is that on Bitcoin right now? Way, way up here at close to 17,000. Okay. So 16.5. So if you're long Bitcoin, just, scale out a little bit on the way up. Pretty simple. But I think we're going to get opportunities to add a little lower, right? That's why I'm not just like going full blown into Bitcoin and just with everything I've got, because I know that things are going to pull back a little bit at some point. In fact, I would love it if it did. I do not want to see it go parabolic immediately. That would just, because we know how that thing turns out. We've seen it before. It goes parabolic and then it just crashes, right? So let's build up and get like a nice just stair step up. I think that would be. Hey Fabio, how you doing? Good to see you, buddy. Get a nice stair step pattern up. Down a little bit, up more, down a little bit, and then up more, and just chew this thing right into the end of the year. Okay, that's my thoughts at least. So I mean, everybody's got their own different opinions and whatnot, but to me, going back to, I'll get off the futures chart. To me, though, the must hold is going to be this area right in here, 10,400. Fabio, it could hit on a wick. Okay, and when I say, I mean, I want to see this area hold, but I'm not ruling out that some stupid wick like we got back here, the other day, something like that can happen. So if you got a stop loss, good luck. I mean, I always talk about trying to have a stop loss, but you almost can't in crypto. I mean, it's really tough because it's not the most liquid thing in the world. They will, the liquidity is the key. If there's a ton of liquidity, then maybe things like that don't happen. But if buyers dry up, they're going to go down and just snag it, right? So anyway, and then yeah, Joe, I mean, how long were we talking about that gap at like 11.7 or 11.9, somewhere in there? I think is where I had it. That gap's filled. You know, when people didn't think it would, they were talking about going back down to 5,000 and 6,000, and we knew all along that gap was going to get filled at some point. So people can rag on gaps all they want, but I've seen them time and time again. Not saying that this 9,600 or whatever is going to, you know, at some point it will get filled. You know, and I could be totally wrong about my thinking. Maybe Bitcoin does pull all the way back. It could come all the way back and back test this downtrend line that broke. It hasn't done it yet. All it did was come back and test this resistance level right here. It hasn't come back and tested that downtrend line. And so if it does, that's around 9,600 as of today. It gets lower and lower and lower, so it's very possible. It could drop all the way back down and then make another move. But right now, she's pretty strong. I think she's definitely due for a little bit of pullback, but not ruling out, because it hasn't quite hit the 1272 here on the spot chart, not the futures, but 12,302. All right. Any questions about that? Yeah, but you know what though? You know my feelings on that though is that, you know, what happens when price gets outside the Bollinger Bands? And here's the key with Bitcoin. It's not outside the Bollinger Bands. Now, when it was outside over here, that's when you got the scam wick that took it down to the 10 EMA, right? And now it's still within the upper Bollinger Band. I mean, within that, right? And this upper Bollinger Band is just climbing higher, right? So this thing could make the move to 12,300. I mean, you could get a 600-point move in a heartbeat and then reverse off that a little bit, depending on if it gets outside the Bollinger Band. It may, if it gets past that 1272, she'll keep running probably up to this 61.8. And that's at 13,346. So we will see. I'm just saying, whatever you've got, if it was me, hold it, right? I don't think now's the time to be bailing on a bunch of stuff. Altcoins may be a little bit of a different story. I'll go into that here in just a minute. You know, especially with that dominance chart the way it was. Going back to it, that reversal pattern right there, I think this could be the start of maybe the dominance chart, maybe at least coming back and testing that 200-day moving average. That's around 65. So we might see some altcoins maybe retrace a little bit. I'm not saying they're going to crash, but retrace a little bit. Okay. So that's that. Let me go over to, I want to go to look at Joe's deal here. Let's see. Here we go. Currencies. Let's go look at gold. Wow. That's all you can say about gold is just wow. I mean, look at this. That's amazing. I mean, this thing has been, you had that big pullback here, and then it has been in bull mode ever since. I mean, what a move. Ever since the coronavirus hit and the Fed started pumping in all that money, look at this. There is so much liquidity money out there floating around. And if the Feds do it again, or not Feds, but the Fed's going to keep doing it. But if you get Congress passing another stimulus bill, oh my God. I think that's what's driving this right here is like, there's definitely, gold can be considered as either a fear thing, or it could be an inflation thing. That's two ways, right? So what is going on, right? Look at this. I mean, it just, that 10 EMA has been holding this thing the whole time. Joe, I agree. Yeah, I think that I think at some point it's going to pull back. I mean, but it hasn't done it in, like, look at this. We're going on almost a month, and this thing hasn't made any kind. I mean, look at this. These 3 candles right here, that's like a 3 white soldiers pattern. That's a continuation pattern. You know? So could it possibly, maybe, Joe, could it pull back 50% of that? This 3 pattern, could it pull back into here and maybe retest the 10? That's a little bit below 19, or a little bit below 2,000. But then again, you never know with news. We could get one of those big red candles, which if it did, I would be all over. I would love to get it if it had a big red candle like that, to be able to get into it. But, you know, my indicator right here, it's showing that it's extended, way extended. There's got to be some sort of pullback at some point. This thing is way up there. Right? I think we've all learned that nothing goes straight up, but this is kind of what I hope Bitcoin, you know, I don't want to see it just like go parabolic, but, you know, like with 3 candles and go straight to 20,000. But this is kind of like more how I would like to see Bitcoin do. Just do this, make a move up, pull back to the 10, move up. I mean, that is a bullish chart. Bullish. So anyway, that's what we got on gold. Let's go look at silver. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Oh, and I drew these. I got to get rid of that. Yeah, I drew these way back. That just blew right past all those resistance areas. Yeah, so at some point, and I think, is that silver outside the... Yeah, it's outside the upper Bollinger Band. I wouldn't be buying silver right here, I can tell you that. Not after that move. I'd be waiting for retracements. In fact, I'd be looking for a bigger retracement maybe on silver. All right. All right, so what does everybody want to look at now? Wide open. I went over Bitcoin. I'll let you guys kind of take over if you got any chart requests. XRP. Oh, yeah. XRP. Excuse me. Yeah, let's do this too. I don't think I did this yet. And let's see if we had anything lined up there or not. I don't think so. I'll leave that on there. Okay, a couple of fib retracements. One from here all the way down to here. You got a 50% retracement that it's broken past, but it's just kind of chewing along. You know, obviously I drew one from here to here. This resistance up here, yeah, we'll see. You know, I mean, it's on a bull run, right? But it's going a little bit parabolic. I think this is another one that kind of pulls back a little bit and then maybe comes up and, you know, gets into this 36 cent area. You know, this indicator is getting a little high, right? So we've got to keep an eye on that. You know, it's not like you want to go in and buy the high with a boatload, right? I wouldn't. Just wait for a little bit of a pullback if it gets back to the 10 or the 20. And then you could add a little bit and, you know, maybe you get that next push up into here, right? But again, going back to the dominance chart, you got to watch that too. The good news is that it's sustaining itself over the 200-day moving average, and the 50 has crossed through. So everything's lining up for a nice bull run, down the road. I'm not saying it's going to go up here immediately, but as we chop around and make that up move and whatnot, I mean, this thing could it could retest these old highs at some point right here at 51. It could. Let's see. Peter, Link. Let's go look at Link. Guthrie, give me a symbol on that, would you please? On Harmony 1. Here's Link. And wow, Link's been Link, right? This thing has been on a tear just since right after the COVID, drop. And, again, guys, here's what I say. Okay. I don't like things getting way too far ahead of the 200-day moving average. I just don't. Right? I mean, I like that this move it's in right now, and it's going to be a good one longer term. We all know that. But this is getting a little extended, right? So I would get it to maybe, this 1050 area. And then if it breaks that, then we're just in these are all-time highs. So there's nothing to really go back to. I mean, I could throw the next fib retracement on there. Let's do that. 361.8 and a 423.6. So break this 1057 area and you're more than likely going up to 14. I mean, who knows? I mean, Link is just in a world on its own, right? I mean, it's like there's no previous history that puts it back that high. So this thing is it's in a world of its own right now. So, just ride the wave as long as you can. She's in bull mode right now, but she's outside the Bollinger Bands. And let's see what happens at this 1059, 1057 area. Okay? Let's just watch that and see what happens. What else did you have? Band? Yeah, I got Band on the watch list. And that is way outside the Bollinger Bands. Up here. Okay. See that? It may do some crazy stuff tonight, but just know that if you buy it, you better be prepared by tomorrow because it's going to pull back in. I'm not saying it's going to crash, but it's going to pull back in. Maybe even might come back and test that upper Bollinger Band. I've seen that before. Things reverse a little bit. They'll test that upper Bollinger Band, bounce off of it, and go a little higher before they pull back in a little bit more. So just watch that. Ultimately, your big support is this old resistance area right here at 522. Not saying it's going to get there immediately, but this one looks like it could still run. I would be more interested to see it pull back inside the Bollinger Bands a little bit. What else did you have? AMPL. I don't think I've... AMPL. Bitcoin pair or USD pair? Oh, and Fabio, I'm sorry. I missed ETC. I'll get to that one in a second. Sorry, buddy. In fact, while I'm waiting on that AMPL, let's go take a look at ETC. All right, so ETC, it hit this 50% retracement, pulled back, and is just hugging the 200-day moving average right now. My guess on this one, and it's a guess, don't put me to this, but I just think that this little up move and then choppiness right here I can see this breaking out of that and going higher. Right? Not saying it gets up to the all-time highs, but you could get a good, 20% move out of it maybe, or a little bit more. At least come up and test the 61.8 at 948, 949, somewhere in that area. So keep that in mind. Indicator looks, it's just kind of consolidating a little bit. And then if you get one of those, big moves, then obviously that's going to turn light green and you get your move, right? So that's ETC. Okay, USD pair on AMPL. I guess the question is, have I ever looked at that one? It sounds familiar. Uh-oh. Is this like a new coin or something? Wow. Is this a new coin, Peter? Jeez, I need to go all the way into like a 1 hour chart. Or maybe I just need to, hang on, let me try a different exchange, hang on. There we go, let's try that. Let's try KuCoin. There we go, much better. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. I really like how it held, look at this. Held that low, and it's just kind of, it's kind of got this little bottoming action right here. This is one, is this a deep, oh shit, okay, that's what I was getting ready to ask. Okay, well you got me excited about this one, buddy. I think this one might be the next undiscovered one right here. I think this one could make a nice little move. Let's see what kind of retracements we're looking at here. And let's see. Let's move that out of the way. Let's go 38.2, 23.6. And I'll get those larger ones out of there. And 1272.